Alright, parallel and perpendicular lines. Now, parallel line is lines in the same plane, same coordinate plane, that never intersect. So, they're always going to be parallel to each other. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at right angles. Remember, so they're going to be one on top of the other. Okay, negative reciprocal is two numbers that have a product of -1. For example, -1/2 and 2. If you multiply these two numbers together, you're going to get -1. So, what you're basically doing is you're taking the reciprocal of a number, and then if it's positive, you make the reciprocal negative. If it's the original number is negative, you make the reciprocal positive, and that will give you the negative reciprocal. Alright, now, some important items. If two non-vertical lines have the same slope, but different y-intercepts, these lines are said to be parallel to each other. Okay? Now, if two lines are perpendicular, if the product of their slopes is -1. Basically, if the slopes are negative reciprocals of each other, then the lines are perpendicular. A vertical line and a horizontal line. One vertical going up and down, one horizontal going right to left, are they're gonna be called perpendicular lines because they will intersect at a 90-degree angle. Alright, so we're gonna look at equations and tell if these lines are perpendicular, parallel, or neither. So the first thing you need to do is to identify the slopes. So for this one, y equals 4x plus 3/4 and y equals -1/4 x plus 4. Okay, this slope is 4. This slope has a slope of -1/4. So since you can do 4 times -1/4 and gives you -1, they're negative reciprocals, we're going to say the lines are perpendicular. Now if you ever see this little upside down T, that just means perpendicular. So you'll kind of notice that some of the slides I start using the shorthand version. Instead of writing out the word perpendicular, I just write that symbol, and then that way you don't have to write the big long word. Alright, number 2, y equals 2/3 x minus 6 and y equals 2/3 x plus 6. Okay, notice they both had the same slope of 2/3, but you see this one has a y-intercept of -6, and this one has a y-intercept of plus 6. Since y-intercepts are different, these slopes are parallel, and we write parallel by these two slanted slash lines. So if you see those, that means parallel. Alright, let's look at this third example. 3x minus 5y equals 3 and -5x plus 3y equals 8. Notice these two equations are not in slope-intercept form. So that's the very first thing I need to do to find my slope. So when I put them into slope-intercept form, I get y equals 3/5 x minus 3/5 and y equals 5/3 x plus 8/3. Okay, I got slopes of 3/5 and 5/3. These are reciprocals of each other, but not negative reciprocals, and that's what I'm after. Since they're not negative reciprocals, they're not the same, they're going to be neither. They're going to be not perpendicular, not parallel, so we're going to say neither. Alright, this fourth one, we got x equals 2 and y equals 9. Now, x equals 2 is a vertical line. Remember, the slope is undefined. Y equals 9 is a horizontal line. And remember, your slope is 0. In the previous slide, we said one vertical, one horizontal are going to be perpendicular lines. So, your lines are going to be perpendicular on number 4. Alright, now writing equations of parallel lines. Alright, so basically we're going to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. That is, remember, parallel to the given line and passes through the given point. Alright, so we'll get the equation y equals 2x plus 3 and the point -35. I don't know why I always yawn during these videos. Alright, so the first one, we've got a slope here of 2. Remember, if a line is parallel, it has the same slope. So I'm going to use that slope. Now I can totally ignore that equation. Throw it aside. I just took out what the slope is, and that's all I need from that equation. Take my point, -3,5, and the slope 2 that I needed, and we're going to put it in point slope form first. So I take y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. My slope is 2. My point is negative 3/5. So now I put those in. M goes in for 2 goes in for m. 3 get plus 3 get minus 5. So I have y minus 5 equals 2 times x plus 3. Now I can change it into any form that I need to. Now notice in the directions it says slope-intercept form. So I've got to basically solve for y. I'm going to add 5 to both sides. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. So my equation is going to be y equals 2x plus 11. And that's in slope-intercept form. And this equation of this line is going to be parallel to the given line that they have given us. And notice all I did was take the slope out of this equation of the line, and then I threw that equation out. I don't look at it anymore. Alright, number 2, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 12, and our point's 5, negative 3. Okay, take your, good gracious. Alright, take your equation that they've given to you. You're doing parallel, same slope. So this slope is negative 2/3, okay? A line parallel, that's what my bars means, you're going to get a slope of negative 2/3. So you take that. Now I ignore that equation of that line. Just toss it out. Okay, you're going to put it in point slope form using this point and this slope right there. So I get y plus 3 equals negative 2/3 x minus 5. Now I solve for slope-intercept form. Subtract, or actually multiply 2/3 times x and negative 2/3 times minus 5, which gives you y plus 3 equals negative 2/3 x plus 10/3. Subtract 3 from both sides, and when I'm subtracting 3, if I put that into a fraction, that is the same thing as 9/3. So I'm taking from 10/3, I'm taking 9/3 out of that, which leaves me left with 1/3. That's how I got that 1/3 down there. So I'm left with y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1/3. And this is going to be our slope-intercept form of the line, goes through this point, and is parallel to this line. Alright, now let's look at perpendicular lines. That's when we got the upside down T for the symbol. Alright, so we're going to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. In slope-intercept form is perpendicular, it should be that is. Let's fix that. That is perpendicular to the given line and passes through the given point. Now it could also say contains the given point, means the same thing. Alright, so this first one, y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2, and my point is 4, 2. So, the slope out of this line is negative 1/3. Now perpendicular, I got to do the negative reciprocal. So, a line perpendicular to a slope of negative 1/3, find the reciprocal of it, which is 3. Okay, so this number was negative, so this one has to be positive. So my slope of my new line needs to be 3. So I totally throw that equation out. I'm done. Okay, I take this information and this point down here and put it in point slope form. So I get y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 4. Okay, now we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times minus 4 is minus 12. Then I'm going to add 2 to both sides to get y equals 3x minus 10. This is slope-intercept form. This line is going to be perpendicular to my first line. Okay, let's look at this second one. Y equals 2x plus 7, and my point 0, 0. Now the slope of this line is 2. I need to find the negative reciprocal of that to do the perpendicular line. So the reciprocal of 2 is 1/2. Now if this is positive, my new slope must be negative. Okay, so that's how I get negative 1/2. And you know negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. So I'm taking this slope, not looking at that equation anymore, and that point right here, and I'm going to put it into point slope form. So I get y minus 0 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 0. We know y minus 0 is just y. Negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x, and negative 1/2 times 0 is 0. So basically I don't have to write that 0, so I take it away. And my equation is y equals negative 1/2 x. And that's going to be in slope-intercept form. Alright, let's look at some examples one last time about parallel, as they fall over on me, and perpendicular lines. Alright, so write the equation of a line parallel to negative 3x plus 4y equals 8 that passes through the point 4, 1. Okay, the first thing I need to do, take this equation and I need to write it in slope-intercept form so I know the actual slope. So when I do that, I get y equals 3/4 x plus 2. Okay, when you do that, your slope is actually going to be 3/4. Okay, that's supposed to be an equals in case you can't see it. Alright, so a line parallel to that, you're going to have the same slope, 3/4. So you're going to take that slope, start with point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Remember, ignore that equation now. Take the given point and your new slope that you found parallel, plug them in to get y minus 1 equals 3/4 times x minus 4. Now from here you can change it into any form. Let's do standard form. So I have basically going to distribute this 3/4. 3/4 times x is 3/4 x. 3/4 times 4 is 3. So I need to get rid of my fraction. Remember, standard form can't have fractions, so I'm going to multiply by my denominator of that fraction. So 4 times y is 4y. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4. 4 times 3/4 x is 3x, and 4 times 3 is 12. So now what I need to do is move the x over here. I do that by adding 3x to both sides. Then I need to move the minus 4 over here, and I do that by adding 4 to both sides. I just did it all quick, kind of wrote it in one step. So I get negative 3x plus 4y equals negative 8. Now I cannot have an a value to be negative, so I need to multiply this whole thing by a negative 1. So I get 3x minus 4y equals 8. This is in standard form of the equation parallel to the first equation. And so we're done with that one. Alright, let's look at the equation of the line perpendicular to 4x minus 2y equals 9 that passes through the point 8, negative 2. Okay, again, the first thing I need to do is to find the slope of this equation. So I'm going to do y equals, put it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals 2x minus 9/2. Okay, now, my slope of this line is 2. I need a line that is perpendicular. That means negative reciprocal. So the negative reciprocal of 2 is negative 1/2. So I take this slope. I ignore that equation. Don't need it anymore. Okay, take that slope, put it in slope point form with the point that you're given, 8, negative 2. You get y plus 2 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 8. This time let's put it in slope-intercept form. So I need to solve for y. I distribute my negative 1/2. Do negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Yeah, there's a little negative here. I hope you can see it. Negative 1/2 times minus 8 is a positive 4 because two negatives multiplied together give me a positive. I'm going to add, so since this is add 2, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. 4 minus 2 is 2. So I get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. And that's going to be my slope-intercept form for the equation that is perpendicular to that one.